Hello and welcome to episode 24 of Rival Banter. I'm one of your hosts, Luke Croft, and joining me, as always, my esteemed co-host, Superintendent Seth Martin. Seth, how are you doing, my
That's what
friend?
they call me. Doing fine, just doing fine. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. You got a promotion. You started school back today. Am I right? Tomorrow?
Yeah,
Today?
yeah.
Tomorrow?
Today, it's just a big day of meetings, and the first day is always not a joke, but I think the first day going back as a teacher, you're just kind of like in decompression mode. Like it's you just have to go in the building. You kind of sit around. You have some meetings, or maybe some have more meetings than others. I didn't have too many meetings today, so I don't have much to complain about. But a lot of it's just kind of like practicing being back on a schedule, being up at hours that you might not otherwise be up, and just kind of getting back into being a real human again.
Yeah. My wife was back at school today as well. First day as a assistant principal at her new place. Uh, so yeah, I got the fall scents going in my house as well. I got hold on, I actually have them here. My Happy Wax Melt's not a sponsor, but
Mm,
pumpkin souffle, pumpkin spice
mm,
latte, and what I've got going right now
mm,
is pumpkin almond biscotti. And my
mm.
house smells wonderful. But once the school year rolls around, in my opinion, that's officially fall. And fall being my favorite season, I just decide to extend it as far as possible. So
Now, are you cooking all those things at the same time to make like a
no,
super scent, or okay?
no. Right now, I've only actually opened the pumpkin almond biscotti. Um,
Okay.
but now that I've got a home as well, with multiple rooms and not an LA apartment of 300 square feet, I've got multiple wax warmers throughout the house, and so my home is just one giant wafting of pumpkin almond biscotti.
Yeah,
Are
you're
you
back
a
in
are you
God's
a
industry
candle
now.
man, Seth?
I always want to be. I'm just, I don't know. I'm like, it's just another thing to spend money on for me. Like, yeah, I probably should. My house smells weird sometimes. Like, I've got kids. It's an old house. We'll go on vacation for a week and then come home and be like, "What the hell is that smell?" Like, there's some old dusty smell to the house. So, like, yeah, I probably should and could burn candles, but like, expensive and they go so fast. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm a big candle man. I'm like, growing up. Well, you came to my house when like we were in high school. We were friends in high school. Like growing up, we had a bunch of animals. We had like multiple dogs. At one point, we had like 13 cats in our house, which is not an exaggeration. We literally had 13 cats at one point because we found a box of cats behind a gas station. And so my house always kind of like had a weird smell to it. And I've always been just like self conscious that my home, like as an adult, would smell weird. So I try to curate a good smell for both myself as like a human being. Deodorant and cologne and nice soaps in the shower and all that. And then I buy myself candles. We got like just cabinets full of seasonal candles at our house that we get out depending on what time of year it is. So yeah, I take pride in the smell of my home.
Yeah, I don't remember your childhood home smelling. I was only there a handful of times, I think.
Well,
But
I think my mom was like pretty like anal retentive about it being clean, and like my house didn't smell weird either. Like when I was a kid, but it was just one of those things that like we had a
you
lot
wanted
of
to make
animals.
sure.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. It was a constant fight. I do remember though, like as an adult, your house just being full of candles. Like it looked
Yes.
like a I don't know, like a palm reader's hut or whatever.
Hmm,
Like you'd be
hmm.
like candles in like a big circle tray on the coffee table, candles in the kitchen. I'm always worried. Right now I think we've got two candles upstairs, and I always forget to like blow them out. And so I'm like, I know that I'm gonna if I light a bunch of candles throughout the house, something's gonna happen.
Yeah, that's one of the
I
reasons
don't want
I
that to happen.
that's one of the reasons I went to the wax warmer. We still have the candles and we'll do that from time to time, but the wax warmer, we got them on like the smart switches. I can turn them off from anywhere if I forget that I've left them on and stuff. So, but yeah. And you probably remember us going to Marshalls, right? And us like holding candles
Oh
up to
yeah.
one another's noses and getting and smelling them with one another. It was sensual.
Small bass. Yeah.
This is Rival Banter, though. We get together every week and talk about all things Marvel Rivals, and then we push it out to you on podcast services and YouTube the very next day on Wednesdays. And if you like what you're listening to, make sure you hit that follow button, like it, leave us a comment, follow us on social media over on Instagram and TikTok at Rival Banter. We appreciate all of you. Thanks. We've been getting lots of comments, lots of likes, lots of love over on social media. And we're going to jump into some comments that we got on our last episode. And let's start with a comment from Spotify from 22TK with a bunch of other letters there. It says, the only thing that I can say about matchmaking is season 3 feels wildly different than every season in the past. I've been able to hit at least gold one every season up to this point fairly easily. If I had to guess, prior to season 3, my ranked record was probably right around 50%, give or take. I swear in season 3, my ranked record is 6-25. I'm getting stomped in Silver 3 lobbies constantly. Lots of GMs and Celestials in Silver for some reason. I've never been closer to quitting this game. Seth, has matchmaking felt different to you in any way, shape, or form this season?
I don't know. I feel like it's such a subjective experience because I feel like I'm having a smoother time this season than last season. And we have, granted, we haven't played a ton still, but I mean, we've played at least every few days for the past couple of weeks, and we've like pretty. It's been pretty smooth sailing overall. Like, yeah, we said we hit kind of a rough patch last week playing, but that lasted a couple of matches, and we played the other night and like 2 or 3 matches, won all three, right? Um, or however many we played. So I don't know. Like it's just one of those things. Like it's so hard to tell unless you're looking at like huge metadata or whatever. Like trying to figure out, is this like just my experience? It's easy to kind of feel that way. There's always people out there complaining on the internet, but there's also people that don't really have anything to say, so they don't vocalize it. I've been not really having a huge issue. That being said, I'm looking forward to a lot of the changes that we're going to see next season, which is something we'll talk a little bit later about in the show.
Yes, this episode is going to be all about season 3.5 changes. We'll get into those here in just a few minutes. But you bring up a good point. Like so much of the evidence that we have about matchmaking is just kind of anecdotal. There's no real like hard evidence, like hard data about the issues that people are seeing in matchmaking. But I think that this is a problem we're going to see um, probably like exacerbated as time goes on, especially if Rivals doesn't do anything about the way that they handle rank resets from season to season to season. Because I think what we're kind of seeing is as people reset. So let's say we're playing every single season, right? So we lose our rank, we climb back up, then we lose our rank, we climb back up. Now, for somebody who falls out for a couple halves or a couple seasons, let's say they make it to like GM or whatever. If they fall out of it for 2 seasons, they're going to fall all the way back down to bronze, right? And so if there's something that brings them back into the fold after 2 seasons, let's say a cool character comes out or a cool new game mode or something like that, or even just a change that excites them that gets them to want to come back into the game, now you're going to have a former grandmaster player in these bronze lobbies with you. And so I think as time goes on, this problem's just going to get worse as more of these kind of formerly good players or just players that have really good mechanical skills get folded into these low ranking lobbies because their accounts have just not decayed, but been knocked back down further and further. And I think that's kind of what we're seeing now. You see people who will back out of their games and they'll go like look at people's profile and they're like, why was this celestial person in my silver 3 lobby or whatever? And it's like, well, they haven't played since January. So appreciate the comment though, 22TK. Then Racing 820 also over on Spotify says this about the thing. Says, does it have to be able to grow? I mean, he's definitely already hard. Does he get harder?
What is he talking about? Like, what is this in reference to?
I don't know. The world may never know.
I think it's kind of like the science of anatomy, physiology.
Mhm.
If we think about the gland, it it is it gets hard. Sure, he's already hard, but again, like I think most people, and it may not be everyone, but tend to grow during that process, and so I'm just assuming that there has to be some kind of growth. Like otherwise, there's transformation that's integral to that. You
And
know what I'm
as
saying?
yeah, and as his partner, I think you need that sort of like some sort of physiological feedback in order to feel confidence in your ability that he finds you attractive in certain moments, and so
It's a validation
yeah,
thing.
it's a
Yeah.
validation. It's not necessarily about having to be able to grow as much as it is just it's nice that he would be able to. So, and I would imagine Stan Lee thought about that.
Then again, some people are growers and some people are showers. So like, but there's still like some
Right. Even
degree
with the shower,
of
something
growth.
is happening, right? That that indicates.
Right.
And then
Right.
Grandmaster Shrimp Wizard, in response to this discussion from last week, just the comment of the 23 episodes that we've posted said Socrates and Aristotle in response to us. And I have to agree, Seth. I think we're tackling really the topics of the generation.
Well, this is what the people want. They maybe what they need to hear. There's just there's a lot of stuff going on in the world, and if we can't crack these hard cases, what do we do? Like, what are we doing here? Our job and our responsibility is to the people. Here's a cat.
Exactly. Yeah. And we have to be able to kind of get past these sorts of things in order to get onto other substantive issues. But as long as we're hung up on this, we can't get to the other things in the world that need to be addressed. Hello, cat. Curious what the cat's thoughts are, but they don't
You
have a
don't want to know.
microphone. Yeah.
He's a real raunchy man.
The Rainbow Raven over on TikTok, talking about the summer pass in comparison to some other passes, said that the summer pass is a better pass than the storm battle pass, and the actual battle pass, the season 3 battle pass, which means they're making skins in battle passes that people don't want but do want in a smaller pass like the summer skins one. And I thought that this was an interesting comment, Seth, because I think I have to agree. I think all 3 skins that are in the summer skin bundle are better skins than what we got than any of the skins that are in the battle pass. Would you agree with that?
So define better in your terms. What do you mean by
Subjectively.
better?
Just
Okay,
subjectively. Just
so
I look at those
not
3
like by
skins.
rarity or
Yeah,
anything like
yeah.
that.
I look at those skins and I'm like, those are just subjectively better skins. Does from a
Like I
design
kind of
perspective. Yeah.
I get where Rainbow Raven's coming from. Rainbow Raven Watermelon, excuse me. I get where you're coming from, Rainbow Watermelon, but I don't know. Like I'm pretty like we've said before. I'm a pretty big fan of kind of like the overall theme of this season. There are some kind of duds for me. Like I'm not a huge fan of most of the Phoenix Force skins, but I love pretty much all the symbiote skins that I've seen so far, and they keep on coming, right? So I don't know that it's necessarily a matter of they're putting like less great skins in the battle pass, and then saving other ones for other paid passes or for standalone cosmetic like purchasable items. I don't know. Like I think it's just kind of like they're kind of throwing just a ton of stuff out there, and I mean they just want you engaging with the game and spending money in as many different ways as possible that aren't like negative ways. So I don't know. Like I kind of felt this way about the first season or the season 0 battle pass. Wasn't a big fan of really anything. I just kind of bought it to support the game. And of course, like a lot of the skins that they dropped during that time for purchase, like individual purchase, were bangers. But um, yeah, I'm not totally convinced on this one that that's like um, an intentional method on NetEase's part or anything like that.
Mm. Then our next comment comes from Yifu Dongwan Bots. who glazes us endlessly at the beginning of this comment. I'm just going to skip over that first part, and then says there is a lack of accountability in hero-based style games. Social media has a mass influence on the game. Example being Necros, and he says Black Panther is good, and people start banning him. To me, it's a low rank ban and a waste unless they have a Black Panther one trick. Community catches on to what is trendy rather than think for themselves. Sure, matchmaking sucks, but so does the community. The community sucks so much more than anything else. Now, I think that part maybe a bit of an overstatement, but Seth, you're not somebody who's like totally plugged into like Reddit and watching Marvel Rival streamers and things like that. So you are probably more on the side of like forming your own opinions and thinking for yourself. But you do coach an esports team with a bunch of high schoolers who are plugged into these communities. And do you kind of see them echoing the
I mean, it's I probably miss some of like the direct references or allusions to some of what's going on out there in the streamerverse, right? But I definitely get like people come in with these ideas, and I can't. It's been a summer, so I've kind of lost some of the specific examples, but I hear people say things that just seem like these harebrained ideas, like you can't do this or you can't do that. Well, that doesn't make any sense, and I'm like, well, why? Why does it not? I mean, it seems perfectly reasonable, right? Or viable, whatever it is. But it just seems like it came out of nowhere, and so I'm assuming it's just something that they've heard someone said, and they're just kind of like try testing the idea out, like putting it out there as if it were their own.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think I see that a lot too, where people kind of they hear something like Flat says, and then they parrot it as if it's their own idea, rather than
Yes, indubitably.
yeah. Whereas a lot of times, like I'll say something that I heard Flat say, but I try to just say like, "Hey, I was watching a Flats video the other day, and he mentioned this thing." I kind of go in and out of how much I plug into the rivals community because I do think that a lot of it is kind of echo chambery. A lot of it is kind of just like these couple figureheads form an opinion, and everybody else just kind of says that thing over and over again. But then you also have the flip side of that where it's like somebody says something and then everybody else just starts to be contrarian to that idea. And so nobody's actually thinking critically about it. They're just either adopting the one person's opinion or just rejecting that person's opinion and going the exact opposite direction. A lot of times I'm kind of reacting to stuff as I see it coming across right before when we're putting the show notes together and stuff like that. Or, like I watched the Blade stuff and was reading about it right before the show just because I don't want to like just hear what a streamer has to say and then say it.
This is like it's kind of tangential to. I read an article a while back. It may have been as long as a year or two ago, but it was talking about how like this generation, whatever the generation is, they use TikTok as a search engine, which can be cool, but also like a dangerous thing to do. And of course, you can argue that search engines aren't like Google aren't perfect either. But when you're like, you kind of have to be a filter and not a sponge, to use a metaphor, right? Like, I think I stole that from somewhere, but whatever. Like you don't want to
He
soak
stole
in
that from
every
a
single
Necros video he was watching.
right. No, I think it was the perks of being a wallflower, but whatever. Maybe it was stolen from somewhere else, but they like I don't know, like you have to kind of think like where am I getting this from? Is this somebody's opinion or is this like a fact? And so like if I see I don't know on like NetEase Facebook on the rivals main page, right? If I see them drop a video about Blade or whatever and I want to know more about that, I'm probably going to go to like a reputable journalist's website, right? Like I'm going to go to Kotaku and check out some of their esports content or Polygon or something like that, IGN or whoever. And kind of get like some concrete facts about what they're saying, like have somebody that's looked at this with an analytical eye and like has like ethical morals and stuff like they have to do things a certain way, and then if I want to dive a little bit deeper in I might go into a forum like a Reddit or something like that, right, or go into the comments. But I don't know, I just don't really feel the need for other people's like course, you want to take other people's opinions and value them and whatever. But like, there are some things I just don't feel like I need to go to others for because I'm kind of like I want to form that opinion for myself.
Yeah, I watch a lot of like debate TikTok.
Mm,
um, so like uh, I'll tune into like a lot of like is God real TikTok or like a lot of political
mm,
debate TikTok and stuff like that. And one thing I've kind of learned through watching a lot of these is that most of the people who will join these lives in order to quote unquote debate, like they're unable to both track and also like present an argument. Like they're unable to kind of keep up with what the discussion is and really kind of like understand what the points that are being made are. And I even see this sometimes in like the videos that we post about the stuff that we're talking about. You know, like we posted up a video last week about how I'm kind of shocked when people are just kind of so blatantly proud of the fact that they're like not going to spend any money on a free to play game that they spend a bunch of time in. And people, you know, were kind of like, how is this surprising to you that people don't want to spend money on microtransactions? And I'm like, you're missing the point. Like, I'm not saying that you have to spend money on this game. I'm saying it's the people that like make it their personality that they don't spend money on these games, you know, like just the points flying above people's heads. And I think that results in people kind of needing others to think for them. But then you have this other weird thing where like, I don't think people even realize that they are adopting other people's thoughts as their own, right? And I think people do this a lot with Chat GPT too, where they'll like have a conversation with Chat GPT about an issue and it just like gives them a thought or like confirms their bias about something and they just absorb that as like their opinion and start to regurgitate it or whatever. So I don't necessarily agree with the like BP is a low rank ban or whatever. I think BP is kind of annoying to play against right now, so I'm totally happy to ban him if I get the opportunity. But
yeah, it can be worthwhile for sure.
but I get the overall point of this, which is just like streamers say something, everybody thinks something, you know, and I do think that is kind of the state of the rivals community at this point. All
Yeah, I'd
right.
agree with that.
All right, Seth. Well, if you guys want us to respond to your comments, make sure you're replying to stuff over on our Spotify, on YouTube, on Instagram, on TikTok. I try to read all the comments that come through, and we'll grab some, throw them in the show notes for next week's episode. Seth, what did you get up to in game this week?
We played a little competitive. We finally got to get back on with Larry, which was fun. Running a little three stack and quick play. Um, it's pretty uneventful overall. I think we're just kind of in that little lull before 3.5 drops, waiting for Blade, and all this stuff. That comes out what 3 days from now, something like that,
Yeah,
two and a
yeah,
half.
yeah. 3 days on
So
Thursday night or Friday morning.
yeah, so a lot of stuff to kind of look forward to. We don't have to, thankfully, with this kind of new model, we don't have to wait long for much to happen. But yeah, I'm just kind of like waiting with bated breaths for some of the new stuff coming our way, and which, of course, some of that stuff just got announced today or in the past couple of days, right? What about you, Luke?
Yeah, we got to play some competitive. I think we had kind of one bad night, but everything else, I mean, kind of smooth sailing on the climb there. I think we'll easily make gold before the season 3.5 if we play as much as we've been playing. So I think that'll be good. I'm really close to my lord on Cloak and Dagger. I've been playing a lot more Phoenix, like when
Yeah,
I'm
yeah, you have.
queuing into quick play, and I I don't know why. She's like really satisfying to play. Like when you get the kind of the explosion procs with her, it feels really good and it's fun. My aim is just bad, so I'm just not really great with her. I feel like I'd be a lot better with her on PC, but aiming on controller is just tough, you know. And plus, when we're playing with Larry, we already have kind of an insta-lock DPS, so there's not a lot of space for me to also lock in in DPS when we're playing. So,
Yeah, yeah.
but uh, but no, I'm looking forward to the stuff coming in 3.5. as well, and I'm ready to get into it. So you ready to jump into all of this news? The news is the topic this week, guys, because we got a lot.
Yeah, yeah, I'm ready. Let's dive in, baby boy.
All right. Well, for the first item on the list, we got our new character reveal trailer for the duelist Blade, who is coming to the game. Seth, what do you think about this trailer?
I mean, just like impressions from the trailer, he looks like a lot of fun. He like I wasn't really thinking about playing him. Of course, like we've kind of been, oh, of course, he's another DPS. He's another duelist that we're gonna like. He's just another guy in the litany of duelists we already have. But I think they are kind of like we maybe mentioned as a possibility. I think that he does kind of have some tanky qualities too. He's got 350 base health. He's got, I mean, he's a 3-star player. Uh, he's kind of close to mid range. Um, I don't know. Like I kind of see him maybe. Maybe I'll be totally wrong once I play him, but just kind of stoked at first glance because I feel like he can maybe kind of fill that Mr. Fantastic hodgepodge role in some ways, maybe.
Yeah, and he kind of fits the mold of the kinds of characters I like to play, where they kind of got the two forms, right? Where he's got the gun, where you can get a little range and get some poke in, and then you have the sword that you pull out that you get some deflection and some dashes and stuff like that. Um, I was kind of worried when I was seeing some of the earlier footage of him that he was going to be really uh, like highly mechanically dependent, like sort of like a Genji style, but he seems a lot more forgiving. Um,
Mhm.
and so yeah, I think from a design perspective, he seems really cool. But have you taken a look at kind of the actual breakdown of his abilities?
A little bit, a little bit. Sorry, this cat knocked something off. Um, yeah.
You're good. I'm gonna pull these up from the show notes and we'll go through them real quick. Um, So yeah, he's got two primary fires. He's got his ancestral sword and his hunter shotgun. Um, and then we'll come back to his ultimate ability, but his shift is a dash forward. If he's wielding his gun, he shoots at his enemies, and upon impact, it applies a healing reduction effect. So it's not a full anti heal, but it does apply a healing reduction. And if he's wielding his sword, it delivers a cleaving strike that inflicts a slow. And I imagine that for characters like Thing and Emma and Diamond Form and stuff, that they're not impacted by that slow. So something to keep in mind for you tank mains when you're picking against a blade. His E ability is Blood Awakening, so he awakens the Dampier bloodline, enhancing slash speed during continuous attacks and triggering Whirlwind Slash. This is interesting. So while under this state, you suffer reduced healing. So he gets the reduced healing applied to him, but his attacks gain a life steal. So kind of a what are those called? The kiss kill mechanic where you get a benefit, but you also get
There's a cost to it
yeah,
too.
there's a cost to it as well. Then his secondary fire is the Scarlet Shroud. So you parry with the Ancestral Sword to become unstoppable for a brief period. You reduce the damage taken from the front and you decrease the cooldown of your Daywalker dash, which is the shift. And then the team up is New Moon. So Cloak and Dagger can inject light and dark energy into Moonlight and Blade. So it's the same team up that Moon Knight has. And then his Q ability is called the Thousandfold Slash. Charge power and swiftly draw the sword of Dracula, executing a powerful Lado strike as you dash forward, leaving behind a slashing zone where the sword automatically strikes enemies. Enemies hit suffer reduced healing. So, Seth, we've had a lot of speculation about kind of how anti heal was going to be introduced with Blade's kit. Now that you kind of see how they're approaching this, how do you feel about how they've opened
You know,
these gates?
I'm pretty comfortable with it. I mean, again, it's not like just a blatant I'm canceling the ability to get healed. You're personally taking reduced healing. However, you kind of are also getting that life steal ability, right? So it's kind of like our theory a little bit before, right? Like we talked about the possibility of kind of the same cost and benefit ratio happening. Like I think our idea was maybe him as a tank charging, doing a Emma style grab, and maybe biting to do a health drain. Or something like that, or to maybe like cause anti-heal. This is pretty cool, I think, because again it's limited to you. It's not like, again, you've got an anti-heal grenade that you're just throwing out at somebody. It's kind of based on you as the player, whenever you want to use it. So I'm pretty cool with this. The Scarlet Shroud sounds pretty cool to me too. It kind of makes me think of Emma, that unstoppable state. Like, again, he's got a little bit of that tanky vibe going on a little bit. So I'm pretty excited for him.
Yeah, and I like that the healing reduction is attached to the hunter shotgun because it seems like the sword is kind of what his kit is mostly built around in terms of where most of his damage profile is coming from. The little bit of gameplay I've seen, it seems like most people are really kind of oriented around his using his sword. So the healing reduction kind of comes from the secondary source of his damage, and so I like that. Um, I haven't seen like where like how long the cooldowns are for or anything like that. So not sure how often you're going to be able to apply that reduced healing, but no, I'm very interested to see how this gets applied. I do think that this is a much more kind of dynamic kit than we've seen with some of our most recent DPS additions, with like Phoenix and Mr. Fantastic and Human Torch and stuff like that. So I think we are probably not going to see the same fall off that we have with those other DPS additions. I think we're going to see a lot of Blade insta locks for a long time to come.
Could be cool.
Um, but I do think the threat of anti heal or healing reduction or whatever is going to have even more of a negative impact on the tank pool, more so than we already have. Just the perception that there's anti heal in this game.
Yeah, I could see that.
We'll see. We will see. Let's jump into some of the patch notes for season 3.5. One interesting thing, and we'll get to why this is here in a minute, but no new map for the first day of season 3.5, which is the first time we've had a new season without a new map.
That's a new one, which of course it is coming in 3.5, right? It's just kind of postponed for right now.
Yes, coming shortly on August 22nd. But like I said, we'll get to that. But yeah, so we got some new things coming with this patch. We'll have obviously Blade will be added in. Let me switch my screens here. Oop, just made Seth real big there for a second. um,
Hello.
but Blade's going to get added. We're going to get new Iron Man lore, new Rocket Raccoon lore. We have a new limited time event, the Queen's Codex, with the grand prize being the premium Hela skin. There's also a premium Black Widow skin and a free symbiote thing skin. Seth, we talked about this skin a little bit last week, but now we're seeing it kind of in full now. What do you think about these three skins, first and foremost, not just the thing skin?
Widow, like, what are you doing? I don't I don't know. It's golden red hood, red gun, whatever. Um the Queen in Black looks awesome. I think of course, like, it's super heavily null influenced. Um Hits the nail on the head for me. I think the thing looks awesome, and the fact that it's a free skin to me is crazy. That's like a free part of the battle pass, so that's something awesome for everybody to look forward to. I do still wonder how easy it's going to be, like, just at a glance, to kind of tell this apart from Venom, because he does have the long tongue. He does have the black and white kind of theme to most of them. Like, if you're not looking at him from the front, or if you're just kind of catching him from the side, at a glance, in the heat of action, I could kind of see a little bit of room for error, like kind of going into a fight, reading that as a Venom and approaching it like a Venom, but in reality, it's a thing. So I don't know. I'm probably not going to be like a huge game changer for anybody or anything like that. I really like this. I do think it is a little I mean, it's a little like too venomy for me.
Yeah, especially with as much flying around as the thing's able to do, able to do now.
Yeah, like you see him jumping around, like it's gonna be pretty easy to mistake him. I didn't even think about that, but like he's doing mid swing as Venom, but no, it's Thing just kind of jumping through the air. So it might just depend on your personal game sense, how attuned you are to like what's happening in the match or something like that. But I do think it looks awesome. I will probably be using that skin some when I play Thing.
Yeah, I think this is the first kind of like premium pass thing I won't be purchasing in a while.
Oh wow.
Um, I mean, there's just no, I mean, I don't play Hella that. I mean, I kind of troll on Hella if I'm like tilted a little bit, but not enough to want this skin. And I don't play Widow at all. And yeah, I just don't think there's really, unless there's like a nice MVP for, because there's not a, the thing summer skin didn't come with a new MVP or anything like that. So unless there's like an MVP for symbiote thing in the premium or something like that, which I don't think there was. Let's see. Uh,
I
oh,
don't
there's
think so. They have a couple of TBAs,
yeah,
so there's a possibility, but I don't know. Like they've got some emotes in there. Like I kind of like even if I know that I don't typically play those characters. Like you never know when you're going to start, right? Or when there's going to be a meta shift and an update where all of a sudden Hela becomes a lot more attractive to play as for you personally, or like maybe one day they fix Black Widow and she's like the stuff, and you want to play her all of a sudden. It'd be nice to kind of have a repertoire of skins you can kind of fall back on. Um, but I also just me personally, I like getting the gallery cards and stuff like that. I'm still imagining
mm,
like spending a weekend going through and just diving into Rivals lore in the game, reading through all the cards and the lore sections and etc. So I'll be buying it probably. I don't know if it's $10 again. We'll see, but it we'll see.
yeah, yeah.
And a lot of the gallery card stuff, those are all free. It looks like anyway. So I don't know. I could skip out on this one too.
See, I just think about you reading all of those things and then just filling me in on what the lore is of Marvel.
I'll hook you up one day.
Let's see. We've also got some ranked adjustments coming in season 3.5. So let's talk through some of these things. I'm not going to go through all the dirty details here, Seth. If there's anything that you want to drill down into, feel free to stop me. But some team matchmaking adjustments. They're changing the team sizes. So for players in bronze, silver, and gold, you can queue in any team size except for 5 player team. So I thought that was kind of interesting that they just don't want people having to solo queue into a team into a 5 stack or with a 5 stack. So you can do 1, 2, 3, 4, or 6 player stacks in bronze, silver, and gold. And then platinum, diamond, and GM, you can go up to 3 players. And celestial, eternity, and one above all, you can go up to 2 players. So I know this is something that a lot of people in the community have been asking for, limiting the stacks that are allowed in ranked. So that's nice. They're also changing some of the surrender and disconnect rules. So in the first round, you're going to be able to disconnect if a player disconnects and doesn't reconnect within 90 seconds. So this is a awesome change. No more having to suffer through a first round of getting curb stomped, especially in like an escort map where you're having to play through three points or whatever down a man. It Go ahead.
Oh, no, these all kind of seem like welcome changes to me. Like I haven't seen. Maybe I'm skipping over something. I haven't really seen anything that I hate. At least kind of like reading the verbiage of the changes. All of these, like this kind of whole tier system behind like point penalties for people that leave or that that drop out, and like the reduction of penalties for people that like would otherwise suffer for people dropping out of a match, right? Like I think that's all just super awesome. I hope it works as smoothly as it kind of sounds here in practice. But I'm totally sold on this stuff too. Like I can't wait to see it as we get into 3.5.
Yeah, I love it too. I love the whole like, hey, if somebody disconnects really early in a match, it just invalidates the match and ends it early. The scaling stuff is awesome. Uh, there's some compensation if you have a lever on your team and you lose. The AFK penalties will scale, and there's competitive bans that go all the way up to like 20 and 40, 45 hours, things like that. So big penalties for people who leave, which is something that people have been asking for. Right now, one thing I'm not really down for are the quick match penalties. So in quick match mode, we've also strengthened the penalty duration for players who disconnect and leave the game. So you get a warning after one, after two, you get 15 minutes, after three, you get 30 minutes, four, an hour, and then five, you get 8 hours. Now, I'm not like constantly leaving quick match games, but I don't know. Sometimes you get into a really trolly quick match that you just don't want to waste your time in. And I just don't feel like quick match should have like crazy penalties in it.
So like I definitely get that. I wonder like what's the duration? Like is this one like 1 to 5 or more repeat offenses within a week or within a day or just throughout a
Mm,
season? So I don't know. Like I could see that being a problem if it is like continuous, like running, like maybe I lose power one day and then a week later it happens again. And then a week later I have to quit to go take care of the kids or something like that. So that would be super inconvenient. But I guess that's one of those things we'll either need some more clarification on or, um, you know, just see how it plays out. I do like that they do note if you believe you were wrongly penalized, you can contact customer support for a prompt review. That's helpful, like I'll take it.
yeah. But yeah, I think for the most part these are welcome changes, right? And I think one of the main focuses, if you watch the video that they put out for season 3.5, and we'll talk about some of the other community changes here in just a second, but one of the big focuses is around. I think NetEase is hearing the complaints from the community that the toxicity in this community has just been absolutely rampant, and the uh, I don't know. A lot of times playing the game just isn't enjoyable because of the people that you're having to play the game with. And sometimes you feel a little held hostage by the game. And I think that Rivals is trying to combat some of those issues with these changes. Now, how these play out in practice, I think is, we're just going to have to wait and see. But I think from a philosophical standpoint, I love what they're trying to do. At least they're at least trying to see if they can help on their side fixing an issue that at the end of the day you're never going to be able to totally stamp these kinds of things out, but you can at least show that you care and that you're listening, and that you hear people who are saying that these things are problems, and doing something about them. But yeah, let's talk about some of these new community management initiatives that they also announced as a part of the season 3.5 update. So they put out a whole separate post, and they mentioned these also in the update video that they put out. But uh, there's going to be a new voice chat era of vigilance. So they are going to have an automated review system that's going to flag malicious uses of the voice chat and then flag those things for manual review. Um, Now, I'm sure for people who use voice chat, this is a welcome change. I've joined voice chat one time, and that's because Larry said somebody was doing something funny in voice chat. But outside of that, I just stay in my Discord party with you and Larry. You don't ever
Yeah,
join voice chat, do you? Like when you're solo
I don't
queuing?
even know how, and I've never really looked to join it. I'm comfortable and confident just playing on my own or with a small group of close friends, right? So, this is great. I think like it's going to stop or hopefully kind of limit the amount of times that you have to hear some weird, wild words, like that kind of thing. I think this is a pretty welcome change. Of course, like it does feel weird, like knowing that you've got an AI listening to you all the time. But spoiler alert, that's probably been happening already to some degree. If you've got that headphone on, I mean, like you're in the system, right? You're
Well,
plugged in.
yeah, they give you that warning when you do connect. It says, like when I play on PC, it tells you voice
Mm.
chats are recorded for moderation.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay. Well, that's good. Transparency.
yeah, for sure. um, so yeah, I mean, I think that's a welcome change. Look, if you're being an asshole in voice chat, don't be an asshole. Like it's that simple. Um, and then for text chat, there's already a bunch of filtered words that are automatically filtered. But I think this is a really cool feature for people who want to leverage this. They're adding custom muted words. So if there's certain things that you see in chat that you no longer want to see in chat, you can just add those things to your custom filters, and you no longer have to see those words. And one thing that I think would be cool to see them add in the future is shareable lists of these words. Like you can, leverage other people's words if they've built out lists of like commonly used, because this is something like on the community management side of things in video games, right? People find creative ways to type slurs into chats that have filters on them, right? And so you're constantly finding new databases of stuff, right? And so being able to share to keep ahead of those things it'd be cool to have a way to kind of share those lists. But I think that's a cool feature. I've turned off chat a couple times in my time playing Rivals because it just tilts me. But yeah, having custom muted words, I think is a really good change. You know what word I found out is not allowed in chat, and I was surprised.
What word?
Twerk.
Wow.
They literally
Okay.
have an emote. They have the emoji of Venom twerking, but you can't say twerk in the text chat. It blocks it.
That's an odd choice.
Maybe
Huh.
it was because I said Jarvis twerk on it, but I don't think it's smart
I
enough
don't
to
know. I don't know that it's.
contextually know what I'm trying to
Yeah, I don't
say.
know
I
that
think it
it's
just
looking
saw.
at the broader context there. I think that's. I don't know. I mean, I guess it's one of those words that people can. I mean, it's a dance people find inappropriate, right? So maybe, but again, like the fact that you like, it's one thing to see the word versus seeing a large symbiote man
In a
do
pink, in a
that,
bubble, yeah, in a
backing it up
bubblegum pink
with a.
skin tight suit.
Yeah, sure, or the orange or whatever, like the creamsicle one, but just kind of bumping and grinding with a disco ball over their head or something like that, tongue wagging out. Ah, I mean, I don't know. It's
Yeah, but you
questionable
guys are too
vision,
big a
but
prude to let me just type twerk in the chat. Doesn't make
words have
sense.
power.
It doesn't make sense. The penis might hear. Oh
That's an
man.
SNL deep cut for those who don't know out there.
Yes, yes. Um, all right. Well, let's talk about some of these balance changes, Seth. And this is something I'm going to kind of be reacting to this in real time. I haven't looked at these balance changes really at all since I've opened these show notes. So, Seth, I don't know how familiar you are with any of these, but um, kind of a little bit.
Kind of, yeah. I've kind of looked through. I don't usually get too in the weeds about these unless it seems like there's some huge meta shifts going on. There's mean some cool stuff, and nothing that kind of just blew me out of the water here.
Gotcha. All right. Well, Doctor Strange is getting a buff. He's getting increased to his projectile charges. So he's getting 10 before you have to reload. And then a reduction to the cloak of levitation cooldown from 15 to 12 seconds. Then Groot is getting an increase to his Vine Strike range and an increase to his Flora Colossus effect range radius from 20 meters to 24 meters. So Groot's getting a buff as well. Two strong tanks getting stronger. Mag's getting a slight down tune to his shields and survivability. Metal Bulwark and Iron Bulwark shields value are going down from 300 to 250. And then the God of Thunder Thor is getting some improvements as well. A gain a fixed one Thor force upon exiting the Awakening Rune. awakened state, and then lightning realm new effect. Enemies leaving its boundaries are grounded for 2 seconds, restricting aerial ability. So does that mean if you go into his wait a minute, if you go into his lightning realm, you now can't go up in the air for 2 seconds? That seems like crazy, CC.
I'm glad that they're like 3 out of 4 of these tank buffs are these tank adjustments or buffs, right?
Yeah.
So, or at least like overall. So, I'm pretty happy with that. Again, like I think we need more and more incentives to play these kinds of characters to keep people from just going 3 and 4 DPS, 5 DPS, whatever it is. So, um, kudos. I'm down.
Yeah. Let's see. Black Panther's getting a slight nerf to his Spirit Rend cooldown from 8 seconds to 10 seconds. Iron Fist is he's had his team up anchor removed, and then he's getting some slight buffs across the board to multiple different abilities there. Star Lord gets a little more staying power in the heat of battle. He's gaining 25 bonus health when using Stellar Shift. And then Wolverine's ultimate is getting a little bit tougher to unleash. The energy cost is going up. And the lifesteal gain from the Primal Flame ability no longer contributes to Wolverine's ultimate ability energy. So that's actually kind of big, a big nerf for him. Just not being able to get his ultimate ability as fast. And then Spider-Man is getting a buff to his ultimate as well. So very interesting on the duelist. More about people that aren't here than people that are here, in my opinion. I don't know. These seem like, I mean, I guess it is a half season patch note, but this seems like a very light adjustment.
Yeah, I mean, I think again, I feel like I say this every time that we have like a mid-season reset or that we kind of transition over, but I feel like they are getting less and less because again, like I feel like overall most things are pretty balanced, right? It's I don't ever except like sometimes when I'm just raging in a Black Panther, um, like that kind of thing. But overall, there's nobody that I feel like I can't defeat with like with just some strategy going into a fight. So yeah, I mean a lot of this is just kind of like fine tuning, and there may come one day where we only have like 2 or 3 just to a character, but who knows?
Yeah. And I think we'll get to a point where they're probably just kind of artificially moving people in and out of the meta. Um, but yeah, I think it's interesting who they've decided uh to make changes to, because yeah, people like Penny not being on here, people like Venom not being on here, people like Black Widow not being on here. Yeah, there's just interesting characters that they're not addressing. There's Sesket's butthole on stream.
Just chilling. Hmm.
We got 3 strategists getting some changes. We've got Adam getting a slight buff to his ultimate ability, so they're reducing the energy cost for the ultimate, and then that ultimate is getting a new effect. The revived allies gain bonus health equal to 70% of their maximum health, which lasts for 5 seconds before decaying to 0 over 2 seconds. And then Cosmic Cluster's new effect. Each hit now reduces Avatar life stream charge times by 0.3 seconds. So that's going to increase his ability to do some healing output there, which is going to be good. Which is ultimately going to allow him to charge his ultimate even faster there. And then Cloak and Dagger is going to take a little bit more time to charge their ult, which I think is that change makes sense. I think, especially if you're playing with a team that's kind of brawly and grouped up together, you can get that ult really, really fast. So that checks out. And then Mantis is going to be a new team up anchor. And when that's active, you're going to get increased healing by 10%. And then because of that, they're going to put some gentle nerfs on everything else, which kind of sucks because the team up anchor is with, I think, Loki and Groot, right?
I think so.
So yeah. some just reductions on healing across the board there. But the new team up abilities, you got the duality dance, Adam Warlock, and Luna Snow. So Luna Snow is going to be able to. Uh, the ability looks like she's going to be able to kind of lock on to an enemy and then get life steal for the damage that you do to that enemy, which looked pretty cool. Then Vibrant Vitality is the Mantis and Groot Loki. So Groot gains the new Wild Wall ability from his team up with Mantis. So for Groot, small walls, he's going to be able to put those down and they'll give like a healing field to people that are around them. And then Loki gains the Deific Blessing ability from his team up with Mantis. Do you remember what that does? I'm not sure I recall.
Which one is it?
The Loki ability with his team up with Mantis.
No, no.
Mind looking that up while I go through the rest of these. The Deific Blessing. Deific.
Yeah.
Um, then let's see. They are removing the Iron Fist Luna Snow. And then they're putting Iron Fist into the Chilling Assault team up, which is the one with Hawkeye now. And then let's see. The Guardian Revival team up is being laid to rest. So the Adam Warlock, Mantis, Star Lord one. Blades being added to the Lunar Force team up. Let's see. Loki's being taken out of the Ragnarok Rebirth, and then Star Lord is being added to the Rocket Network one. So he's going to have this machine that he's going to be able to place where he can then kind of teleport from location to location. Were you able to find that deific blessing ability?
It seems like it's just kind of a further step buff. It just like I'm looking at the AI overview. It says, um, the team allows Loki's lamps to boost nearby allies' stats, but I haven't quite found
Ah.
the specific stats or in what way it buffs those stats, any percentages or anything.
Okay,
I'm
that
sure if
makes
we go
sense.
a little deeper in
So it's kind of like Mantis's damage boost, but like in that
with the
AOE
lamps.
of
Yeah.
his lamp. Gotcha. Okay. Cool. Is there anything about these kind of balance changes that excites you, makes you nervous?
I'm always down to see how some of these team ups work out. I do like the idea of kind of turning those lamps into damage buffs, especially like if you use those and place them in a way where they're going to affect the whole team. That could be a game changer in a fight, right? So that's kind of like I think one of my favorite things going in this. I like that Thor is getting some love, specifically as a character. Doctor Strange getting a little love too in there. So I'm pretty, again, just excited through and through, just ready for this new season to kick off.
Yeah, the Thor stuff is exciting because I feel like they keep trying to do stuff to Thor and it's just never quite enough to get him there. I still am not quite sure they totally understand what makes Thor not quite a good enough tank, which is just like he doesn't have quite enough damage mitigation to really like take pressure off of the rest of his team. Whereas I think most of the other tanks outside of like Penny are really good at being able to absorb damage. Um, I'm not sure this really addresses that, but having more CC that can impact flyers, I think, is always really good. I do think that them kind of doing some stuff with Spider-Man and Star-Lord to kind of bring back a little, and Iron Fist to kind of bring back a little bit more dive, I think is interesting too. Um, I do wish they would have done a little bit more to bring back some more brawl. But yeah, we'll see. Anything that nerfs Wolverine, I think is welcome in my book too, given how much more tank I've been playing.
Another big one too. I'm looking forward to seeing him taking down a pig.
But yeah, and I'm always just kind of interested with any new character. Blade might be enough to kind of get us back into more of a brawl meta, where I don't think Blade is going to be really divey. I don't think he's going to be looking for off angles to kind of get to your backline. He looks like a character who's primarily going to want to get onto your tanks to apply that healing reduction so that you can melt the tanks a little bit more easily. And I think Blade is going to be a menace, especially in lower ranks, right, where a lot of your DPS is kind of farming tanks for damage stats anyway. And if you can get that healing reduction onto a tank that's already getting blown up by your DPS anyway, I think that's just going to be really, really hard to deal with. I am really interested in how effective the Groot team up with Mantis is going to be with the kind of mini walls. Those walls don't last very long to begin with, but yeah, I'm interested in how much healing Groot's going to be able to do with that.
For sure, yeah.
And then the final thing on the list is, like I mentioned earlier, no new map at the start of season 3.5, but there is a new map coming on August 22nd. It's called Throne of Knull, and it's not a game mode that we have played yet. It's going to be a brand new game mode called Resource Rumble. And what was interesting about the mention of this game mode in the video that was released last week is that it is going to launch into quick play so that they can gather feedback and fine tune the experience before rolling it out into competitive. So this isn't some sort of like limited time special event mode. This is going to be the kind of next introduction of a mode into competitive. So what I imagine is going to happen is that Throne of Knull will be the first map, and then I imagine whatever map we get for season 4 will be a second map in this mode, and they'll be adding this mode with 2 maps into competitive. But Seth, let's bring back something from Player 3 podcast days and do a little bit of wide speculation
Wow, speculation.
about what Resource Rumble might be. Seth,
I
what do you
I'm
think?
gonna tell you what I hope it's not, and I hope it's not just like a reskinned. What is that other game mode where you're like collecting chronovium or whatever, like those big orbs? Was it Conquest or something like that?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Conquest, I think.
Okay, I hope it's not just kind of like that. I do hope there's a little bit more depth to it than just get kills, like kill confirmed, pretty much in Call of Duty, something of that nature. Um, I really don't know. Like again, it's got to do something, have something to do with that. You're getting stuff, maybe you're depositing it. My mind right now is going to like Gambit in Destiny. Did you ever play much Gambit in Destiny? Was that what it was called?
Remind me what you
It
do.
was the mode. It was released later on in a DLC, maybe like Forsaken or something like that, where you it's like a PvE slash PvP mode. Like um you have two teams trying to farm points, and I don't remember some of the specifics, but like you're farming points, you're getting kills, you're um gathering resources, I think, and taking them back to do things with them, and eventually it kind of all comes down to who can beat a boss first, pretty much. um but something like that, like I remember playing those matches, and they're just so detailed, and like there's so many like different strategies and ways that things can go wrong, that it was one of the most like fun game modes that I think they ever uh used in Destiny before, at least before we kind of fell out of playing it. So I like the kind of idea of something like that, not necessarily a reskin of that either, but something again with that kind of texture and just variety in the moment to moment gameplay.
Yeah. What I'm kind of hoping for is, so there's a competitive mode that they introduced into Overwatch after you stop playing, um, called Flashpoint, where it's kind of like domination, but it's all on the same map. You don't like take breaks, but there's like 5 points on the map, and it's the first team to capture 3 of those points, right?
Mhm.
Um, but what I would like to see is where it's a Clintar map. It's a null map, right? So my guess is that you're having to like capture and protect, one of those uh, black null semen balls, uh, while extract something from the ground or whatever, some sort of resource from the earth, and you were trying to be the first team to gather X amount from so many sites across the course of your game, and that's the resource aspect of it. It's
Okay.
like the
Okay. I could
extraction.
see something. I could see something like that. Yeah, and that's kind of a cool way to kind of like implement the lore, dive into, kind of like centralize the game mode around some lore or something like that. There's got to be a purpose that you're fracking the earth or whatever. So, or fracking Clintar. Yeah, I like that. Sounds cool.
And I think it's something, all of the game modes kind of have like loose lore around them, like you're escorting like the Herbie mobile or whatever the Fantastic Four cart is called. I don't know what it's called, but uh, like with something like that, you can figure out the way to retrofit the lore into it. But yeah, I hope it's some sort of like neutral objective that you're fighting around, like a domination again. I hope it's not something that you're having to. I'm not a big fan of the like switching sides modes, like the push maps and stuff like that. So um, that's all I'm hoping for.
Do you want to know what that car is called?
Yeah,
The Fantastic Car.
that makes sense because you weren't. We were talking about this on the episode Larry filled in on about just how kind of like cheesy the Fantastic Four is and has always kind of felt. And I kind of Larry brought this up. He's like, I just don't understand never understood the appeal of the Fantastic Four. And when he said it, I was like, you know what? I kind of vibe with that. What you're saying, like the Fantastic Four does feel kind of cheesy. Like everything about like Mister Fantastic, like Invisible One, like they're just kind of named after what they do in very on the nose ways. And so Fantastic Car just fits.
Yeah, I mean, like the Batmobile, right? If you go over to
Yeah, I mean,
DC's
yeah,
way,
that's true.
like side of things, but and again, we're getting on a tangent here, but whatever. I don't know, like they're Fantastic Four. I think they're so like they're that like classic nuclear family, right? Like space age, they're the Jetsons. They're the space age nuclear family. So I think a lot of maybe like that kind of gripe comes from that. Like it's definitely a way different dynamic than like Spider-Man going off and doing things solo or teaming up with the Avengers. It's like a family with a family dynamic going through family things, their kids involved, their friendships and marriages and whatever. Um, and yeah, it's a very different kind of story than like Iron Man's alcoholism or whatever. But I kind of like. I think you just have to kind of see it done well. I really liked and really enjoyed this Fantastic Four movie more than probably any other Fantastic Four stuff that I've seen in a long time. I did go back before I saw the movie and try to watch some of the old like '90s cartoon of the Fantastic Four. Not really. It pretty much felt like the Jetsons to me. It was like I'm watching just kind of a cheesy family cartoon. But I don't know. I think the the MCUity of it all kind of like I don't know. It was kind of a refresher on their narrative for me.
Yeah, I do really want to see the new movies. So as soon as it comes to something I can rent it on my television, I'll do
Yeah.
that. But yeah, I'm excited about a fourth competitive mode though, because I think we need something fresh. We need something new. Seth, now that we've kind of seen the cadence in real time, now we've seen a month long half season play out. How do you feel about it?
I mean, not being a rock hard competitive player, I am. I mean, I'm fine with it. I think I don't really have any gripes. They're not doing any kind of reset that they've announced at the midseason
No,
this time,
and I
are
doubt they
they? No.
will. Yeah,
So, I'm fine with it. It definitely is less time to make it to like GM or whatever it is that you're reaching for, Celestial, one above all. But I don't know. Like, I feel like everything, like, just kind of getting just here and there, reaching almost gold. I think I'm like mid to high silver one right now, and I've barely played any games. So, I think pretty cool. It's a brisk pace. Again, like there's not a lot of time to get complacent, and I think that's been the problem with a lot of games that follow this. games as service model where you've got the battle pass. It's there for a long time, and like especially if you're somebody who grinds matches every day, you're gonna get bored. There's no time to get bored in this game right now. Like you've got a month, you've got a month for this pass. Well, I guess it's the same pass for 2 months, right?
Yeah.
But you've got the kind of mini sub-seasonal events going on simultaneously alongside when stuff drops at mid-season. So uh, I'm cool with it. I don't see a way that they could even really pick up the pace even more. I don't know that I would want that necessarily, but as long as the game keeps expanding and growing, I'm down.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Like on the one hand, I'm loving it. I think the pace is great from just a like consumer standpoint of having stuff. It feels good knowing that there's like always something new to have. But I also feel like we just got started with this season and we're already like back on the rigmarole of like, hey, what's new? Let's talk about this new character. What's the meta going to be like? And we're just kind of getting settled in on what this meta is and what's going on. So, um, in some ways, it feels kind of hard to keep up with. And so, how do you strike that balance? And I feel like we're really connected with this game. I mean, we play almost every single day. We have a podcast about it, and it's already kind of hard to keep up with. So, and I feel like they're kind of figuring it out too, right? I mean, like we said, they're not doing a new map for the release this week. They're doing it 2 weeks later. So I think they're kind of figuring out like how do we not kind of overwhelm people having a drink out of a fire hose with new content, new things to learn uh, at every step of the way, and still kind of pace ourselves with new stuff. So we'll see how things change. This is the first of these kind of 2 month seasons that we're in the middle of right now. And I'm sure this is not the final iteration and version of it that we'll see in the future either. But all right, well, let us know your thoughts on season 3.5 as we move into it later this week. But Seth, what are you going to get up to in Rivals this week? How many games of Blade do you think you're going to play?
I still have not touched Phoenix yet. I think I am gonna at least play a few rounds as Blade, as long as I can get my hands on him at some point during the week. Overall, my goals, just finally hit gold one, or not gold one, but at least gold. Kind of work my way up. Last season, I don't think I made it past gold one, just because we rarely played competitive matches, just the way it worked out. So I would love to at least hit platinum this season, or if not diamond, but we'll see. I'm not going to grind my heart out going for it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I like what we've been doing, right? We get on and play a few competitive games until we lose a couple and then call it a night and go to quick play or whatever. And then if Larry's available, we'll just play some quick play. I kind of like where I'm at with the game right now. It feels good. I'm having a lot of fun. I'm not, getting extremely tilted with the game. So but yeah, I'll try Blade a couple times. I'm sure I'll like him a lot more than I do Phoenix or any of the other kind of new DPS that we've gotten. Uh,
Hmm.
but yeah, just gonna keep working towards that Lord Cloak and Dagger too that I'm so close to.
That's right.
All right, guys. Well, we're gonna get out of here, but leave us some comments and leave us a like and a follow. Subscribe to us wherever you're listening to us, and we'll catch you next week. Good luck in your climb. Good luck in your games, and we love you. Goodbye.
Bye.